SpaceX launches South Korea's second spy satellite. Russia declares flood-hit Orenburg region federal emergency. China patrols South China Sea in response to U.S. naval drills. Charging elephant kills American woman in Zambia. South Korea create artificial sun, sets record in nuclear fusion. Total solar eclipse in U.S., Mexico, and Canada.
Hello, I'm Wade Lee. Thank you for joining us on Funday News. It is Tuesday, April 9th, and here are your top stories. South Korea's defense ministry said Monday that the country's second homegrown spy satellite had entered orbit after its launch on a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket from the John F. Kennedy Space Center in Florida. The launch, which comes after Seoul's first spy satellite was put into orbit from California's Vandenberg Space Force Base in December, was live-streamed on social media platform X and YouTube. The Falcon 9 rocket was launched at 7:17 p.m. Eastern Time on Sunday. It made successful communication with a ground station about 2 hours and 40 minutes after the launch.
4, 3, 2, 1, ignition, engines full power, and liftoff of Bandwagon 1 and ADD 425. Go Falcon, go SpaceX.
The back-to-back launches of reconnaissance satellites come amid a race against North Korea for military capabilities in space. After two earlier attempts ended in rocket crashes, Pyongyang said in November last year that it used its own Chol Ma-1 launch vehicle to place the Mal-Lig-Yang-1 reconnaissance satellite in orbit. North Korea has previously vowed to launch 3 new spy satellites in 2024. The Yonhap news agency reported that South Korean Defense Minister Shin Won-sik told reporters that North Korea could launch a second spy satellite as early as mid-April. Shin's comment was based on the military's observation of North Korea's related activities, South Korean Defense Ministry spokesman Jeon Ha-gyu told a briefing. Seoul's second spy satellite is equipped with a synthetic aperture radar capable of producing images regardless of weather conditions due to how it processes data.
State media reported that Russia's government declared the situation in flood-hit areas in the Orenburg region a federal emergency on Sunday, with preparations for possible flooding underway in 3 other regions. The regional government said the floods that caused by rising water levels in the Ural River forced over 4,000 people, including 885 children, to evacuate in the Orenburg region. State news agency TASS said that a further 2,000 homes were flooded, bringing the total to nearly 6,300 in the region. The total damage from the floods in the Orenburg region is estimated to amount to around 21 billion rubles.
Russia's Emergency Situations Minister Alexander Kurenkov arrived in Orsk, one of the most hard-hit cities, on Sunday to supervise rescue operations. According to RIA Novosti, the minister said, "I propose classifying the situation in the Orenburg region as a federal emergency and establishing a federal level of response. The move means federal assistance and coordination can supplement state and local efforts." According to Orsk Mayor Vasily Kozapitsa, the city is less than 20 kilometers north of the border with Kazakhstan and suffered the brunt of the floods that caused a dam to break on Friday. By Sunday morning, 4,500 residential buildings in the city of 200,000 were flooded and evacuation efforts were still ongoing. A criminal probe has been launched to investigate suspected construction violations that may have caused the dam to break.
China's military said Sunday that it had conducted air and sea patrols and that all activities that disrupt the South China Sea are under control, an apparent response to naval exercises by the U.S. and its allies. The defense chief of the United States, Japan, Australia, and Philippines announced Saturday that they would hold joint exercises in the sea to safeguard the rule of law and uphold the right to sail through and fly over the waters. China has long simmering territorial disputes with several Southeast Asian nations in the South China Sea, a major shipping route. Skirmishes with the Philippines in particular have flared up since last year.
The U.S. has conducted joint patrols with the Philippines in a show of support. China says the U.S. is inflaming tensions by meddling in the disputes. A brief statement from the Chinese military's Southern Theater Command said it had organized patrols and that all military activities that disrupt the South China Sea and create hotspots are under control. Likewise, the U.S. and its allies did not mention China in their statement, but the 4 countries reaffirmed their stance that a 2016 international arbitration ruling, which invalidated China's expansive claims in the South China Sea, was final and legally binding. The growing tensions in the disputed waters are expected to be high on the agenda when U.S. President Joe Biden hosts his Japanese and Philippine counterparts in a summit at the White House this week.
An American woman who was on what she had called her last big trip was killed when a charging elephant flipped over the car she was traveling in at a national park in Zambia. Tour operator Wilderness said in a statement Tuesday that the aggressive creature buffeted the vehicle carrying 6 tourists and a guide. It said the 79-year-old victim died after Saturday's incident on a game drive at the Kafue National Park in western Zambia. The company did not name the victim, but Ronna Wells, her daughter, identified her as Gail Matson in a post on Facebook. She said her mother died in a tragic accident while on her dream adventure.
A video circulating on social media apparently showing the incident shows a large elephant running toward a car, which slows down as the animal approaches its left side. The elephant then flips the vehicle over and the passengers can be heard gasping as the car rolls over. Photos shared online of the car, which is emblazoned with the logo of the tour operator, show it tipped onto its side after the incident, with a deep dent in 2 of its side doors. Marlon Dutoit, a wildlife photographer and safari guide, told the Today Show Thursday, "It's extremely rare to see an elephant that irate. Across Africa, there are thousands and thousands of guests on safari daily with no negative consequences." The exact cause of Matson's death was unclear, but the company said her body would be repatriated to her family in the United States with the support of local Zambian authorities and the U.S. Embassy in the capital, Lusaka.
Scientists in South Korea have announced a new world record for the length of time they sustained temperatures of 100 million degrees Celsius, 7 times hotter than the sun's core, during a nuclear fusion experiment, in what they say is an important step forward for this futuristic energy technology. Nuclear fusion seeks to replicate the reaction that makes the sun and other stars shine by fusing 2 atoms to unleash huge amounts of energy, often referred to as the holy grail of climate solution. Fusion has the potential to provide limitless energy without planet-warming carbon pollution. However, mastering this process on Earth is extremely challenging.
The most common way of achieving fusion energy involves a donut-shaped reactor called a tokamak in which hydrogen variants are heated to extraordinarily high temperatures to create a plasma. Director of the KSTAR Research Center at the Korean Institute of Fusion Energy, KFE, Si-woo Yoon said, "High-temperature and high-density plasmas, in which reactions can occur for long durations, are vital for the future of nuclear fusion reactors." KSTAR, KFE's fusion research device, which it refers to as an artificial sun, managed to sustain plasma with temperatures of 100 million degrees for 48 seconds during tests between December 2023 and February 2024, beating the previous record of 30 seconds set in 2021.
On April 8, a total solar eclipse crossed North America, plunging millions in parts of Mexico, the US, and Canada into darkness for up to 4 minutes and 27 seconds. A total solar eclipse occurs when the moon passes between Earth and the sun, completely blocking the sun's face. Those within the path of totality, including 32 million people in the United States, saw the eclipse in its full splendor. People outside the path were still able to see a partial solar eclipse where the moon blocked only parts of the sun's face. Many people traveled to the path of totality to attend special viewing parties.
Streetlights blinked on and the planets came into view as the moon shrouded the sun for a few minutes across the land. Dogs howled, frogs croaked, and some people wept, all part of the eclipse mania gripping Mexico, the US, and Canada. Almost everyone in North America could see at least a partial eclipse, weather permitting. It was the continent's biggest eclipse audience ever, with a couple 100 million people living in or near the shadow's path, plus scores of out-of-towners flocking in to see it. According to NASA, those along the very center line of the path saw an eclipse that lasted between 3.5 and 4 minutes. For many Americans, this was the last chance to see a total solar eclipse for 20 years. The next one won't be visible across the contiguous United States until August 2044.
The answer for yesterday is B, battered. He had been badly battered about the head and face. Did you answer correctly? Now let's delve into the news of Russia declares flood-hit Orenburg region federal emergency. Number 1, underway, 进行中的. An investigation is underway to find out how the disaster happened. Number 2, amount to something, 等同接近. The confession were obtained by what amount to torture. Number 3, supplement, 增补,补充. He supplements his income by giving private lessons. Next, we have a multiple choice question for everyone to practice. Which answer would you choose? You can write your answer in the comments section. The correct answer will be announced tomorrow. And that's it for today's Funday News. Be sure to tune into Funday News from Monday to Friday and click the link below to join Funday for free. I'm Wei Li, your host. I'll see you next time.